It's only a kick, a jump, a block. It's only a serve. It's only a tackle, a run. It's only for the fans. After all, it's only pressure. You got this. Adidas.
Michael Gardner, uncut, uncensored, raw. Savaged. Brief. 3,
Hey,
2,
Jimmy, what is going
1.
on, buddy?
What's up, man? Yeah, I'm taking a walk, so doing
Oh,
it
okay.
on the move.
Yeah, just don't get mugged or murdered, you know?
Yeah, don't worry. I'm
Got
down.
to in there. So how's everything going, man? It's been a while since we've had you on, man.
It's working. Took on a new job and a lot.
Yeah.
So, our times don't line up.
Yeah, I hear
a
you.
lot later,
Yeah, I hear you. But it's great hearing you, man. I just wanted to do like a quick episode with you because, obviously, the people that did tune in, when you were on, they kind of miss you, Jimmy. I mean, I'm not making this shit up. They do. They miss hearing your voice. So.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
So I want to get into some sports here, kind of throw away the political viewpoints because I've done it for like the entire week and it's given me a headache with Hurricane Ian and fucking COVID today I did with Joseph. So I want to get into some WWE, man. I don't know if you still watch the WWE, but I tuned it off for like about 2 weeks because I got tired and fed up with the storylines. And then I'm like, all right, let me see what's going on with Monday Night Raw this past Monday. So, Monday Night Raw showed a lot of good storylines. Obviously, if you don't know, Vince McMahon is no longer part of talent creation anymore. Stepped down, retired.
No, I know that.
And,
I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, we have Triple H now, head of basically WWE. So, what do you think about that? Triple H taking over the worldwide wrestling, association.
I think that was a good move. I mean, he's been in the game for a very long time.
He is the game, yeah. I mean,
he's been in the game. He's also had some of the best personas in the industry. Part of the best groups in the WWF. So he had a really successful run as a wrestler.
Yeah.
Champion. They really pushed him. And he's been really diving deep into the business for a very long time. So it was a no-brainer that he'd be in charge. It's his passion. It's his life.
Yeah.
And then he picked. And then what did he do? He picked Shawn Michaels, right? For I forget. I don't watch it as much.
Yeah, I'll fill you in. I mean, obviously, Triple H goes back, folks. He created a great legacy before stepping down as a full-time active wrestler. You can go back to the roots of him when he was that Richie type classy guy from New Hampshire known as Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And then, fast forward to the mid-'90s where he shortened it down to Triple H and his run with D-Generation X with Shawn Michaels and, X-Pac and the New Age Outlaws. I mean, that right there took the fucking map for WWE. But like you said, Shawn Michaels, yeah, he pointed Shawn Michaels as the head of NXT. And then also he's the head of he's like an executive producer now of Monday Night Raw. So, I mean, that's, he's working through the ranks there.
Yeah, I'm hoping, listen, if they bring back some of the magic from the 90s, from the Attitude Era,
yeah,
I'd watch it. And I think maybe they'll get back that they'll eventually move back in that direction. But listen, the 90s, you can't beat 90s wrestling, and I'm not trying to take that away from anyone now. The problem is that the good problem was in the 90s we had multiple outlets to watch wrestling.
Yeah, you had your WCW, you had ECW. There was a lot of territories back then. Yeah, of course.
So once Vince bought them all up, and they kind of went under. He moves through the Ruthless Aggression, which was kind of okay. I probably stopped watching wrestling like 2002. I catch it here and there, and then he went reality, all the other types of errors the WWF went through. The 90s was the best due to the fact that, that's what we wanted to see. Think about it.
You want to see that extra attitude, of course. Hey, Jimmy, I want to get into some of current time here this past Monday. I don't know if you watched Raw, though, but what do you think of this? Obviously, you know who Logan Paul is, correct?
I do. I know who Logan Paul is, yeah.
What do you think of Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Stephanie McMahon, all the head executives of WWE now bringing Logan Paul, right, this YouTube personality, into WWE? Of course, he had his run with UFC, and he's done some short movies, some cameos in between. But what do you think of Logan Paul going against Roman Reigns for the title at in Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia?
Well, just the others never did UFC. They have.
Well, they did. They did a little MMA. Yeah, they did a little bit. Yeah.
Well, not in UFC. They did boxing. So Logan Paul and Jake Paul have done boxing. Now, listen, it's a no-brainer. We're in the age where kids watch YouTubers, TikTokers, influencers, reality stars. So bringing him aboard, it's a fake. Remember, you got to look at the fan base. I'm not talking about guys. I'm not talking about guys like us. I'm talking about the young guys. They know who Logan Paul is.
Savaged, unfiltered.
If I go to a guy right now in his 50s, 60s who watched WWE and said, hey, you know who Logan Paul is? They might not have a clue. So,
no.
For the organization to bring those people aboard, it's just for viewership. It's for ratings. It's for money.
Well, you got to remember one thing. Yeah, you got to remember one thing. This guy has over 35,000 followers on YouTube. So, I mean, I think it's a good move for Triple H and the rest of the executives there at WWE to bring, YouTube personality Logan Paul into the mix. Now, you got to remember something. The way they were building this matchup for Roman Reigns going into Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel, it was supposed to be Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. Now, I don't know why they scrapped that match, Jimmy, but now they have Logan Paul as a replacement. Do you think, why do you think they went that route?
I'd have to look. I'd have to really do it more of a deep dive into it.
Yeah, again, I think it's a money thing, to be honest with you.
It's always about money. I mean, listen, Logan Paul and he has way more than 35,000 subscribers and views. This guy, his frog. This guy,
yeah, I just checked. It's like 35,000, 40,000. Yeah.
Well, he built him and his brother built their empire from Disney to YouTube. They were part of that whole YouTube crew, doing crazy, wacky stuff, and they did boxing. And now Logan Paul also has a pretty successful podcast. So
yeah, it's fucking phenomenal.
So honestly, I'm not surprised that they wanted to bring him on board. He's pretty athletic. He's pretty agile. He was wrestling with who? The Miz, right?
Yeah, this is not the first mix-up. He was doing some work with the Miz for a few months prior to this, and then they had their fallout, right around SummerSlam, where the Miz was like, "Oh, you were just a hype man for me," and this and that, and said some stupid storyline that he used them just to get back to becoming relevant again in the business. So yeah.
I mean, listen, I do think that with Triple H being at the helm of creating, Logan Paul is definitely a younger guy. He's very athletic. He's got the face. He's got the height. Can he pull it off? Sure, maybe. I mean, does he really need to wrestle? No, he's a millionaire. So that's kind of a really interesting twist to it, right? When you think about the golden age of wrestling, the 80s, and then you think about the Attitude Era in the 90s, those guys didn't get paid shit. They were fucking road warriors. They got in their car,
Yeah, they were sleeping in their car. They were sleeping in Motel 6s. I mean, cheap-ass motels, like literally with each other. I mean, a motel usually has like 2 beds. Some of these wrestlers there were like 8 or 9 wrestlers in one hotel room,
And they did it. They did it for the love of the game, the love of the sport. And now it's just interesting to see, like, here you go. You got a millionaire coming in to wrestle. Where does that end up? Where does that lead to? So, but it is about ratings. It is about, selling tickets and viewership. So it's a no-brainer that they'd bring the kid in to wrestle. And they're going to take care of him. That's a specialty match. Unless you start seeing more of him, that's not really, he's not part of the roster. So, I mean, it's just there to get people to watch because, again, when you think about the business part, why did Vince go PG? All right, Vince understood that guys like us were aging out, and he needed to bring in a new era of viewers. So he couldn't sell the Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, I think we got tired of, what you gonna do, brother, and Macho Man Randy Savage. We definitely had to move up, like you said. Fast forward here, Sportskeeda. Everybody knows who Sportskeeda is. It's like a huge fucking sports panel online. Sportskeeda is now saying that we could be seeing a return of former Universal champion, right, Bray Wyatt. We've been seeing a lot of White Rabbit. This past Monday, they did like a teaser again with the White Rabbit. Is Bray Wyatt go into that storyline with Alice in Wonderland? We'd seen him as Mad Hatter in a this time last year when he was leaving the WWE because he had a personal demeanor, a personal experience when he lost his friend, right? A wrestler that died that was part of the Wyatt family. So could we see return of Bray Wyatt sometime this week, Jimmy? I don't know.
You know what? You're more of an expert on it than I am at this point. Again, I didn't really know we'd be talking wrestling or else I would have did my research, but I have to look up.
It is a myth that terrorism stopped during COVID. Unfortunately, mainstream media opted to prioritize pandemic hysteria over promoting all news. Terrorism continues. Simply hoping that it doesn't affect you is not a strategy. The new book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you, featured on The Author Show, is now available in paperback from bookstores, online, or as an ebook exclusively through Amazon Kindle. Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you by Joseph M. Leonard. Order today.
Jerry Jr. in the wrestling game again. I spend a lot of my time watching UFC.
Yeah, well, I wanted to bring in the Logan Paul because obviously everybody knows who Logan Paul is. He has done a little MMA, nothing big. Normally he does like his boxing and stuff like that in his YouTube, but I think they're gonna put. To be honest with you, Jimmy, I think they're gonna put the title on Logan Paul because it's gonna bring a lot of money to the company. The fucking ratings on Fox, with SmackDown, and then the ratings over there on USA with Raw, man, it's gonna be tremendous. It's gonna bring a lot of good ratings for those networks because they've been falling behind with AEW. AEW is climbing up. So,
well, I heard that is that's the biggest competition to WWF since WCW.
Yeah.
I mean, AEW has seemed to kind of find that special sauce to really drive forward because you had TNA that didn't go anywhere. You had what's the other one? Impact that just became like a what is that? Like a low card wrestling.
What is that? Yeah, They're like an old version of how the NWA, back in the 80s started out, like early 70s with the NWA. They started off with like territorial type of stuff. You had NWA North, NWA West, South, you get the concept. But yeah, TNA they're pretty much almost bankrupt, at this point. But
yeah, so a lot of those companies came out and they tried to compete and they couldn't. And
now,
go ahead.
Now, here's something here that you might like, okay? Because you're a big UFC guy. You love UFC. There's a rumor that, a lot of people are questioning where Cody Rhodes has been. Now, Cody Rhodes, folks, is the son of the late, great Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. There was a YouTube personality that goes by the name of the Schmo. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about, Jimmy, but he's been very popular on YouTube. The fucking following behind this guy is crazy. Now, there was an interview with the Schmo and Cody Rhodes that it could be a possibility of Cody Rhodes literally signing his no conflict clause thing, and he could be leaving WWE for going to UFC. So we could see Cody Rhodes in UFC within like a month or two from now.
Oof, I hope not, because we seen what happened the last time a wrestler tried to move over. He got his ass kicked. What's his name?
Brock Lesnar?
No. Brock Lesnar handled his own. It was the other one that had a very large following.
There's a lot. There has been, let's see, you got Ken Shamrock. You got
I'm talking about more as recently. Not those guys, because those guys were fighters who came over to WWF. So that kind of worked out for them because, they just kind of had to slow down what they were doing. But,
you had Bobby Lashley, that's the current, United States champion right now. He had a run in UFC. I think he got his ass beat. He only had like 3 or 4 matches.
But. CM Punk. No.
Oh, CM
Punk. So
yeah.
Here's the issue. If you're a fighter going over to wrestling, the transition is a lot easier because you kick people's asses in real life. CM Punk made that move to the UFC and got just destroyed. And he trained, but it's not the same. I'm not knocking anyone that does wrestling, but realistically, the wrestling that you see on TV, it's not real wrestling. It's
all scripted. Of course, yeah.
Don't get me wrong, they beat themselves up for entertainment purposes, but it's not the same as you trying to knock someone's head off. And a lot of those guys go in and they think, CM Punk's big thing was talking shit to Dana White. And got his ass kicked. So
with Dana White, he literally said, I can do it in all the territories in pro wrestling. I've been in TNA, I've been in WWE, I've been in. Now he's in AEW, which I think he's leaving AEW. I don't know where he's going. He's going to become some kind of like fucking free agent now. But I don't know, man. I could see CM Punk trying to, have a second win in UFC, but is Dana White going to take him back? He's not worth it.
He's not not anyone in their right mind, especially on a high level like that, would take him in. He's not a fighter. And so that's what I'm saying with Rhodes. Like, I don't know what his physical capability is, but what is he, late 20s, early 30s? So he has
Yeah, Cody Rhodes, I think he's like roughly like right around 40. So he's right around my age. But Cody Rhodes, man, he had a lot of personas that just went sour over the years, right? He was Cody Rhodes when he first stuck out. Then he went to like this, kind of like, don't hurt me phase where he wore a fucking plastic shield over his face in like the early 2000s. Then he had a run in TNA. That didn't work out. Then he had a run again as WWE with his brother Goldust. He was
Stardust.
And that didn't work out. And then he left. After that, he left. He went to AEW. did very well in AEW. It was like a fucking like executive in AEW, and he basically left that company after like 5-6 years, and then he just had like I think like 4 or 5 matches, like big matches in WWE recently, and then he's gone. No one's seen him. He's now rumored to be in UFC. So
well, I mean his image. I mean he still comes from like a great family of wrestlers, which is awesome.
yeah,
The biggest issue with his personalities over the years is that I don't think they were bad. I think that just wrong timing. If he was Stardust during the 90s, it would have played differently. When we were younger, the fan base of wrestling was completely different 80s, 90s.
well, you had different types of characters. Yeah, there were so many different characters. You had like Hacksaw Jim Duggan, you had Ric Flair, you had the Bushwhackers, you had the Rockers, Marty and Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels. You had all these great talents back then, but they were more personalities back then. They weren't like so-called of the reality that you would normally see on like a television screen. They made it more reality now, more entertainment, and I think that's where they lost their touch.
I don't know if they necessarily lost it, but if you really think about kids now, it's completely different than when we were kids. So,
Yeah.
And I have kids, you have kids. When I was younger, wrestling and fighting, that was a way of life. And I'm talking about that just when you got a bunch of boys together, we were friggin', power slamming each other, power bombing each other. And it was just, a room full of testosterone. But when you see kids now, they're so docile. They're behind computer screens. They don't really get active as much. So, I mean, I don't know if wrestling has taken a hit or if it's grown. Again, the platform grew, so that's going to bring in more viewership anyway. But the fans of our era, completely different. The wrestlers of our era, completely different. You know what I mean? Like we had the greats. We had the greats in the 80s and 90s. Those guys were ripping lines at night, drinking fucking 40 packs of beer, then getting in the ring the next day to entertain.
Yeah, I remember it.
Getting paid shit, but they did it because that's what they love.
Yeah, I remember it. I could say like there's everybody knows who JBL is, right? John Bradshaw Layfield. He just came out on I think it was like Twitter, or one of his Instagram. What was it, Twitter? Yeah, Twitter.
Hey guys, this show is now on Amazon Music and Audible. That's right. Gonna want to check us out on Amazon Audible and Amazon Music. Great set of platforms. We are so honored and grateful to be part of the Amazon team. And we're honored that they are allowing us to be launched on those two major platforms. So thank you to our new friends here on Amazon Music and Audible.
Bradshaw Layfield was like JBL was like the wrestling today that you see today is so much more scripted than it ever has been. Of course it's scripted. It was scripted back in the 80s and 90s, but like the wrestling today, Jimmy, it's like exactly what's going to happen because they're repeating the same crap, same bullshit storylines that they've done like the week before. They have wrestlers fighting the same people over and over and over. And JBL was like, I think that's where people are losing touch with pro wrestling today. I think that's why some of the ratings are going down. It's just not the same wrestling. Yeah.
It's also because people are just soft, right? When you tie in, like when you look at society now, and I'll give you an example. Netflix brought out the Jeffrey Dahmer series, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's complaining. Take it off. Why did you tag the LGBTQ community? Why did you do this? It's just it's a change of times. Like you have one rapper, Little Boosie. He's like, we need to take this show off the air. Look what he did to our people. I'm like, listen. This was the 90s or early 2000s. People would understand that this is a fucking movie. It's based on a real killer. Those are things that he did. I'm sure some of it's exaggerated for, theatrical reasons. But people are that upset about, movies and cancel culture. Imagine if the WWF tried to bring back some of the gimmicks they had.
God. Yeah. Oh my God, man. Like you look at like the greats, like the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. He had a lot of racism in his persona with, carrying a black man as his handler. I mean, you look at that today. Now a lot of people will be like, "Oh, that's racist." I mean,
well, that I think that those types of things that kind of walk that tight line, that walk on a tightrope. Those are the things that people really like comedy, wrestling back then when they did real edgy shit like that. The more they do, the more they kind of follow the rules, and the more they kind of do PC type of stuff, woke stuff. You're gonna lose people to a certain degree because everybody's very hyper vigilant, and they're waiting to see what's WWF's gonna do next. Oh, this group of people complained and said this is not, it's not friendly. What are they going to do? Are they going to pull it off the air? Because then if they pull it off the air, you're going to lose a large amount of people that disagree.
Yeah.
And if you keep it on, you're going to still, you're going to lose the other half. So that's the unfortunate part.
I said this similar to when I had Fraser Chronicles on the show not too long ago. He has a podcast. This guy Fraser Chronicle. He's known as a preacher, man. We got into a little cameo wrestling on the show, and he was like, "Yeah, it's wrestling is more Hollywood now than ever." But
yeah, it doesn't have that grit to it anymore, and I think that's kind of what it was. But hey, listen, it's still a multi-billion-dollar industry. People
of
still
course,
watch it. People still watch it. It's still entertaining to a degree. But when you think about it, when we were kids, people would come to school with wrestling shirts on. People would bring, I don't know if kids still bring the belts. I knew so many people like that. It was good times. And I'd have to really kind of dig into wrestling a little bit more to be able to talk about it more. Because I would know.
Jimmy, I would definitely watch that match though. That Logan Paul, man, you might like that one. It's gonna be held up in Saudi Arabia at the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I forgot what the hell's the damn name of that. I think it's Riyadh. Yeah, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Dubai or
no, it's not Dubai. No, it's not Dubai. It's Riyadh. The city.
Am I wrong? Well, whatever. Quote me later. I don't know. But
there's a lot of wind coming there, man. What are you guys having, like a tornado or something in the area, or what?
No, I'm just I'm moving around outside. I'm taking a walk.
Yeah, it sounds windy, man. Yeah.
Doing a mobile podcast.
There you go. But Jimmy, man, I wanted to bring you on because the listeners, man, they haven't heard you in a while. It's I want you to still be part of the show in some form or another. But we definitely we're going back to video, by the way, Jimmy, in January. We've been doing audio for a while. I tried a little kind of sneak peek with Riverside FM. I really don't like their features. They do these like freeze fucking frames a lot with Riverside, which is like a sister platform of Anchor. And they do these freezes where they freeze your entire video. They only do it to the host. They don't do it to the guest or anybody I bring on. But they freeze you. And Joseph the other day was laughing his ass off. He's like, "What's up with all these?" But
listen, I'd like to be on more. I know our times aren't aligning right now. Change of life circumstances, getting a new job, and kind of working through that is a challenge of its own.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. You have a family, man, to support. I get it, but like I said, man, when we get back to Restream, we're definitely going to keep you in thoughts on Tuesday nights, man, at 7, right? Or what was it, 7 or 8 or something? We had it. I forgot the old lineup, but
it was Tuesdays at 7. Those were the days.
Yeah, Tuesdays at 7. Yeah, we'll get back to that original lineup. I know I have Joseph on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then I put Sauce in the middle of the week for like the Savage Briefs, the bonus shows. But I just got done doing an episode with Sosslin, and he's traveling. Guy's all over the place, man. He's down in Texas right now for a conference.
Really?
And, yeah. And he was actually doing a podcast as he was driving. I said, Sos, you're out of your fucking mind, man. Don't crash or something. He's got a lot of passion, man. He's doing pretty good. Hold that thought for a minute, Jimmy. Before we close, I got to make an announcement here before I forget. Guys, for my Green Bay, Wisconsin viewers out there, if you live near the Larson Road exit on I-41, which is also known as U.S. Highway 41, we have an advertisement going on Blip Billboards. It's going to be up until next Tuesday, so you could check out the ugly mug of myself on Blip Billboards. They're digital billboards right on the Larson Road exit on U.S. Highway 41 for all my Green Bay, Wisconsin listeners. Getting a lot of good feedback in Wisconsin, Jimmy. Really good stuff, man.
Yeah, try not to crash when you see his face, guys.
Oh, shut the fuck up. No, I'm just like... But Jimmy, man, it's good having you back on. It's been a while, man. Enjoy your walk. Like I said, it sounds like you're going through a tornado there, but maybe it's just a lot of wind. I don't know.
Yeah, a little windy out here.
Oh God, it wasn't like this with the freaking hurricane that we had last week. It was
It's been raining all week up here. So
yeah, you've been getting it from Ian, probably the remnants of it. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
But Jimmy, man, you take it easy, man, and we're definitely gonna bring you back on in January, man, for the video streams. Which I mean, we got to get you back on, man. Joseph is missing you, Sasha is missing you, myself, man. We got to get you back on Savage Unfiltered. But buddy, you take it easy, man, and enjoy your walk, man.
Yeah, likewise.
All right, brother, take it easy.